So I developed this consciousness that you can actually go to heaven before you die. You don't have to wait till you die to go to heaven. You can have a piece of eternity. In fact, we are the inheritance provided by the death of Christ. We are co-heirs with Christ right now. But then it also occurred to me that if you don't have to wait to die to go to heaven, you also don't have to wait to die to go to hell. If you get a piece of heaven down here, you can get a piece of hell down here too. And the most popular story that I had as a child in church was Luke chapter 15. You know, Jesus was attacked because he had this propensity to reach out to sinners, and he was challenged by these religious people, probably Baptists, you know, they weren't Christ Church. But they said, why do you like sinners so much? And Jesus told a few stories in Luke 15. And then in Luke 15, chapter 11, he said, a man had 2 sons. Y'all remember that? And one of his sons, the younger son, said, Dad, I don't want to wait till you die to get paid. I want my money now. I want my insurance. I want my inheritance. I want it right now. And his father reluctantly gave him his share. And if you read the parable, you remember the story. It says that this young man took everything he had. He didn't leave 10% behind. He didn't put 15% in the back. He took the whole thing and went way over yonder. The King James Version calls it a far country. And spent all of his money in riotous living. Riotous living. That's what made him prodigal. We call him the prodigal son. Ended up working for somebody feeding hogs. And what I discovered about this parable was that Jesus was teaching us that God, who was the Father, will take us back no matter how far we traveled. But in the meantime, Jesus was also using this young man as a catalyst to teach us that when we waste our money, when we abuse our resources, when we fail to manage the blessings God has given us, that we are in a far country and we are, as it were, living in hell. This young man was living in hell. But he got out of hell. And look at what he did. The first thing he did was he assessed his situation. When I say that when we were on CNN with Soledad O'Brien, she almost fell off her chair. She said, are you telling me you think debt is worse than racism? I said, yes. That's a cardinal sin for a black preacher, you know. Especially somebody with a civil rights background. We don't want anything to be bigger than racism. We want to blame everything on racism. If we have a bad hair day, cause of racism. If it snows too much, cause of racism. We don't want anything bigger than racism. But racism or sexism or any other ism describes what somebody else thinks of me. I can't control what you think of me. But debt is what I do to myself. If I don't do anything about something that's external, you can understand that. But if I do nothing about what I can control, shame on me.